My hands were shaking before the first ship went dark. I did not know why yet. I only knew that something on my screen had just stopped existing, and no alarm on my console could explain how. My name is Owen Marsh, and I was the systems officer on the Quiet Country, a ship built to be forgotten the moment you looked away from it. We were not supposed to be seen. We were not supposed to be felt. We were a whisper sent into a war that had not started yet, and our only job was to make sure it never did. 3 hours earlier, we had slipped past an alien screening line of 31 warships without a single one of them turning a sensor toward us. I remember watching the tactical display and feeling my chest tighten, because being invisible does not feel like safety. It feels like standing in a room full of people who cannot see you, knowing that one wrong breath could change that in an instant. Commander Alice Doran gave the order in a voice so calm it almost scared me more than the silence around us. "Take the anchor ship first," she said. "Quiet and clean, no trace." I did not ask what quiet and clean meant. I already knew. Our ship carried no cannons that fired flame or fury. It carried something colder, something that reached across space and simply removed a target from the field, the way you would erase a mistake from a page. One moment the enemy ship existed, the next moment it did not. No wreckage, no flash, no sound, just absence. I watched the alien vessel called the Ashkelon Vanguard sitting steady on my display, glowing with the quiet hum of 1,100 lives aboard it. Then Alice pressed her hand against the console, and the light representing that ship simply stopped. I felt sick, not because of what we had done, but because of how easy it had been. "Get us moving," Alice said. "They will notice soon." I pushed the drive forward, guiding us through the gaps between enemy ships, like a shadow slipping between the legs of giants. My scanner showed their formation shifting, confused, searching for something they could not find, because they were looking in all the wrong places. They were hunting for heat. We had none. They were hunting for noise. We made none. They were hunting for fear. We were too focused to feel it, or so I told myself. 2 hours later, we heard a burst of alien communication through their language relay. Panic. Real panic. Ships were calling out to each other, demanding answers no one had. I almost felt sympathy for them, until I remembered why we were here. 6 days earlier, before I ever set foot on the Quiet Country, our command intercepted a private alien transmission describing an invasion plan aimed at 3 human colonies near the Outer Ring. The plan was detailed, patient, and cruel in its efficiency. It was not a battle plan, it was a harvesting plan. Colonies of people, treated like resources to be collected once resistance was crushed. That was the moment Earth stopped playing by rules the rest of the galaxy expected us to follow. Alice looked at me from across the narrow control room, her eyes sharp despite the exhaustion carved into her face. "We are not here for revenge, Owen," she said. "We are here to make sure they understand something before more people die. We want them to know that hiding a war from us does not work anymore, and starting one against us will cost more than they can imagine." I nodded, though my throat felt tight. I believed her, but belief did not make the weight in my chest any lighter. Our next target was a support cruiser called the Ninth Ember, drifting near the edge of their formation. As we approached, my sensors picked up something unexpected. A small craft launching from its hull, moving away fast, carrying what looked like an emergency signal buoy. "Alice," I said, "they are trying to send a warning." "Let them try," she said. "It will not reach anyone in time." I still remember the tension in my hands as I adjusted our course to intercept the tiny craft without harming it. We disabled its transmitter with a narrow pulse, leaving the pilot inside shaken but alive. I watched the small ship drift, powerless but intact, and felt a strange relief that we had chosen restraint over finality. "That is who we are," Alice said quietly, almost to herself. "We fight to stop wars, not to prove we can win them cruelly." As the day continued, 3 more enemy ships vanished from the alien formation, each disappearance more confusing to them than the last. Their commanders began pulling ships into tight clusters, believing that closeness would protect them. It did the opposite. It gave us clearer paths to slip through, because their crowded formation created more blind spots than open space ever could. By the 5th disappearance, I could hear real fear in their communications. Their fleet commander, a being named Vahoran Tal Esu, began requesting emergency contact with our diplomatic channel. I felt something shift inside me then, a quiet hope that maybe we would not need a 6th disappearance at all. "Alice," I said, "they are asking to negotiate." She exhaled slowly, the first sign of tiredness I had seen in her all day. "Then let us give them a reason to listen," she said. Our diplomatic officer, a steady-voiced man named Caleb Rhodes, stationed on the neutral relay platform, opened a channel with their commander. I could not hear every word, but I heard enough to understand the moment history shifted. Caleb spoke slowly, plainly, without threats, without pride. He simply explained what would happen if the invasion plan continued, and what would not happen if it stopped. For a long moment, there was silence on their end. Then their commander gave the order to withdraw his entire fleet from the border. I felt my body finally relax. Muscles I did not know were tense, releasing all at once. Alice closed her eyes for a moment, her hand still resting on the console that had ended so much without ever raising its voice. "We are not finished," she said. "Withdrawal is not surrender. It is only the first step." She was right. Over the following hours, we shadowed their retreating fleet, making sure no ship broke away to continue the invasion in secret. My nerves stayed sharp the entire time, because trust in war is a fragile thing, and I had learned enough in one day to know that fragile things break easily. At one point, a single alien scout ship attempted to double back toward the outer colonies, moving quietly, hoping to slip past our watch. My sensors caught the shift in its trajectory instantly, and my heart pounded as I flagged it for Alice. "There," I said, pointing at the screen. "They are trying something." She studied the display for a long moment, her expression unreadable. "Do not destroy it," she said. "Just stop it." We moved quickly, using a targeted pulse to disable its drive system without harming the crew inside. The scout ship drifted to a slow stop, helpless but whole, exactly as Alice intended. "Send them a message," she said. "Let them know we saw everything, and let them know we chose mercy anyway." I sent the message myself, my hands steadier now than they had been at the start of the day. I do not know what they felt when they received it, but I hoped it reminded them that restraint, not cruelty, was the true strength behind our silence. By the time the alien fleet crossed back over the border into their own territory, the sun on our side of the system had shifted into a soft golden light across the black of space, the kind of light that makes even the coldest void feel a little less lonely. Alice finally sat back in her chair, rubbing her eyes with the back of her hand. "We did it," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I looked at the empty spaces on our display, where 6 enemy ships used to be, each one removed without a single life lost aboard them, each crew alive somewhere in the void, shaken but breathing. "We saved more lives today than we ended," I said quietly, needing to hear it out loud. Alice looked at me, and for the first time since I had met her, she smiled, a small, tired, honest smile. "That was always the plan, Owen," she said. "A war you never have to fight is the only kind of war worth winning." As the quiet country turned silently toward home, I thought about the colonies we had protected, the families who would never know how close they had come to disaster, and the strange comfort of knowing that sometimes the loudest message in the galaxy is the one delivered without a single sound. I closed my eyes for just a moment, letting the tension of the day finally drain from my shoulders, and for the first time since stepping aboard this ship, I felt something close to peace. We were not heroes in the way old stories describe. We did not shout, we did not celebrate, And we did not seek glory. We simply made sure that a terrible plan never had the chance to become a terrible reality. And in the silence that followed, that felt like more than enough.